I grew up in the city, but I always sought out nature. As a child, I would spend hours in the garden, singing to the birds. I connected to the natural world by watching the sky from my room and walking in the rain, letting it touch my skin. These were the only ways I could feel grounded. Nature has always helped me to get out of my head. As I got older, I spent more time in the wild, and I realized how much I'd been missing. The sound of owls at night, which I'd only ever heard in films. Bats circling round my head at dusk. Wild deer having breakfast in the forest at dawn. Eating fresh flowers. How should I eat it like this? My feet on the earth, my body against a tree. I am earth, and earth is me. I love the smell of petrichor. Petrichor is the scent released from the earth as the rain soaks it. Humans are more sensitive to petrichor than any other animal. I'm not sure why, but I'm grateful for it. Maybe humans need this reminder of our connectedness most of all. For me, it's the smell of life. It makes me feel like I'm held by the dark, damp earth. I am a creature immersed in the warmth and water. Sometimes there's no greater joy than really savouring the season you're in, noticing all the little changes every day. The earth bursts to life in spring. The ethereal blossoms make me feel like I'm in heaven. Spring froths over into summer, tall, luscious flowers and all greenness. Everything feels so alive. The sweetness of summer mellows into autumn, my favourite season. The slow decay and the bountiful harvest. Dying leaves look so pretty. The fungi recycle the dead. Since I started paying attention, I've even found an appreciation for winter. The cold and dark don't always feel so oppressive. I love the stillness and the opportunity to slow down and face the darkness within, to get comfortable with it. Seasons mirror the cycles we go through in our own lives, like day and night. The truth is, we're made of cycles. The menstrual cycle that mirrors the moon cycle, the cycle of life and death, action and rest, pushing away and pulling forward. We're always in motion. It's comforting to notice that I'm similar to all other living beings, to understand that there's nothing inherently wrong with me, which is a feeling that has weighed heavily on me since I was young. I never look at a tree and think it should be a different way. Every tree is perfect. All living things experience some kind of trauma. But when I see a broken tree branch, I don't think this should never have happened in the way that I do when I examine the tapestry of trauma that is interwoven into my own history. I don't blame a traumatized animal for not healing. Why do I think I am so inherently different to other beings? I think to find part of the answer, I need to look outside of myself. Our societies are structured in direct opposition to nature. We don't follow the natural cycles, but demand that we work in the same way every day. Most people don't know the names of the plants they pass on their way to work, if they pass any at all. We don't have as many seasonal celebrations as we once did. This wasn't always our way. For most of human civilization, we have lived in relative harmony with nature. Many ancient cultures understood our connection and deeply respected the environment. The shift in our collective psyche occurred relatively recently, around the time of the Renaissance. A new worldview, represented by philosophers like Descartes, began to frame humans as separate from nature. Descartes believed that humans were the only living beings who had a soul, intelligence, emotions, and agency. These views were eagerly taken up by early capitalists around the time of the Industrial Revolution, who needed to see nature as a commodity in order to exploit it for profit, and without a thought for sustainability. They enclosed and privatized common lands, driving peasants into towns and factories. People became cut off from natural cycles, from the land and from their own bodies. This was the beginning of a journey that finds us in the here and now, destroying our planet and with it ourselves. Today, most of us still believe that we are separate from nature. We fail to see that we are the Earth, inexplicably tied to everything else. If we did, we wouldn't be able to cause catastrophic harm to the planet without feeling like we were harming ourselves. For me, the answer is awareness. If you try to really see what's around you, really listen, really smell, if you get curious, what is this plant? What bird am I hearing? How does the air smell and feel against my skin? How does it all make me feel? My favourite poet, Mary Oliver, wrote this: I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? I think everything starts from here. Be here with an open heart and let the world speak to you. When you develop intimacy with the natural world, you instinctively know how to care for it and for yourself. We don't know whether animals have something like thought, whether plants have feelings, whether rocks have consciousness, but energetically everything, even the non-living world, is connected. According to the Encyclopedia of Earth, we, the sun, earth, and all things that live on it, including humans, are products of the stars. Many of the atoms that make up the world around us were made during generations of massive stars, which themselves were built from the debris of the explosion of space and time that created the universe. We are all one. White flowers. Last night in the fields, I lay down in the darkness to think about death, but instead I fell asleep, as if in a vast and sloping room filled with those white flowers that open all summer, sticky and untidy in the warm fields. When I woke, the morning light was just slipping in front of the stars, and I was covered with blossoms. I don't know how it happened. I don't know if my body went diving down under the sugary vines in some sleep-sharpened affinity with the depths, or whether that green energy rose like a wave and curled over me, claiming me in its husky arms. I pushed them away, but I didn't rise. Never in my life had I felt so plush, or so slippery, or so resplendently empty. Never in my life had I felt myself so near that porous line where my own body was done with, and the roots and the stems and the flowers began.